UK and Ireland. Good evening. Thanks very much for joining us. The Brexit EU steering committee is saying, that basically this latest offer doesn't address the Good Friday Agreement.
Well, it does. Actually, it fulfills three very important criteria. It addresses the Good Friday Agreement, it respects the integrity of the EU's single market and customs union, and also allows the UK to pursue an independent trade policy. So it actually fulfills the three main parts of the exam question that have been asked.
But we're in a situation where Boris Johnson said there'd be no physical structures in Ireland. Leo Varadkar says that is in direct contradiction to the papers submitted to the EU. There it is in black and white. Why is Boris Johnson appearing to be saying one thing and doing another thing?
Well, I don't think what you've reported there is correct.
Because it's in the papers.
Well, there isn't going to be. Well, I've read the papers very, very carefully, and I've worked on this extensively with the Alternative Arrangements Commission. What is not being proposed is in any way to have new physical border infrastructure on the Irish border. What is
not on the existing Irish border. There will be physical infrastructure which will delineate one from other. It may not be on the existing Irish border, but it'll be there.
It's a misunderstanding. It's a misunderstanding between what is essentially a set of customs declarations and what would be a set of customs checks. This would be making customs into a series, like a business transaction. That is the idea.
So wait a minute. So there'll be no place that you can say, on Thursday afternoon there's going to be checks at this particular place, or on Friday morning we're going to have checks in this particular area. That won't exist. There'll be nothing like that.
There'll be a series of customs declarations. Very important to understand the difference between customs declaration and a customs check. A customs declaration would be made in the same way that a tax declaration or a VAT declaration.
So you don't need technology then? You don't need technology?
All of the technology is already in place. We believe, for example, the Trusted Trader scheme is an existing technology in use in various places around the world, including the European Union's own AEO scheme. This is existing technology, not new technology.
But isn't this exactly what the EU has called magical thinking?
Not at all. Quite the opposite.
Well, listen, last year, Karen Brady, sorry to interrupt, but Karen Brady, the Northern Ireland Secretary, said last year, let's just be clear what she said.
Karen Bradley.
Sorry, Bradley. The government, well, it'd be quite funny if Karen Brady, last year the government would never allow a border down the Irish Sea.
Correct. This is not a border. OK, this is not a border. What we're talking about here, on the customs side, is a set of declarations that would be decentralised, would be made in companies' premises, or during the supply chain, or the point of arrival. But they would not be done at the border. So there would not be customs checks. There would be a series of customs declarations. Be treated in the same way that something like income tax or VAT.
Let's be quite clear. What you're saying tonight is there'll be absolutely nothing physical except pieces of paper.
It would all be done electronically with the ability to have a check well away from the border if that were felt to be necessary. But customs would be done through a series of declarations. That is the way borders are moving. Borders are moving away from being lines in the sand to being a series of transactions. That's what this is about.
We have a situation where part of this deal would have, ratified by Westminster, ratified by the EU, ratified by Stormont, which, as you very well know, has not sat for more than 2 years and shows absolutely no sign of reconvening.
Yeah, but
you can't deliver that.
But the reason that Stormont hasn't reconvened is due to Brexit. Once you had a deal and the atmosphere between Belfast and Dublin, between London and Dublin,
isn't this magical thinking
Brussels,
again?
No, it isn't. It's actually looking at what would you do if you had a deal. The atmosphere would improve enormously. The cooperation, particularly the North-South cooperation, but some of the East-West cooperation.
And a lot in the North would not want that to happen.
Well, look, this is all about getting a deal, rebuilding cooperation. Stormont, we need to get Stormont back up and running in any case, because that's essential for everything. That's essential for the Good Friday Agreement. But here, I think the atmosphere would change. People would come back to the table at Stormont. The executive will be back up and running.
Before we finish, Michael Gove is reported to have said the decision to leave the EU was on a par with the fall of the Berlin Wall and East Germany's quest for freedom. What's your response to that?
Well, my wife is East German, and I'm also in a country that has voted to leave the European Union. These are sensitive matters.
Is it?
These are sensitive matters. The best thing for us to do is to recognise that today is Tag der Einheit, the day of German unity, celebrate that, and actually try and get a Brexit deal at the same time.
Thank you very much, Greg Hans.